I'm not even going to pretend to stay calm about this one because what we're witnessing in Beyond the Gates right now, this is not just drama anymore. This is psychological warfare wrapped in a ticking time bomb. And at the center of it all, Hayley, let's talk about it. I swear, every single week, Hayley manages to go from suspicious to outright terrifying. And this latest development, it pushed me over the edge because what we saw with Bill choking, that wasn't just an accident. I don't buy it. Not for 1 second. Naomi's reaction said everything. She walked into that moment and immediately felt something was wrong. That kind of instinct, you don't fake that. She saw her father, Bill, literally struggling to breathe, choking on food, and what does Hayley do? Nothing. Cold, distant, almost detached. And I'm sitting here like, are you kidding me? If that were me, I'd be panicking, calling for help, doing something. But Hayley, she just stood there, watching, observing, calculating. That's not normal behavior. That's someone who's either completely disconnected or someone who already knows what's happening. Now, here's where things get even more intense. Bill steps in. He calms the situation. He tells Naomi to back off. He defends Hayley. And I just lost it. Because let's be real for a second, this man is blind. Not just in love, blind in judgment. Naomi is literally trying to protect him, and he shuts her down like she's the problem. That moment, that's where the emotional fracture really deepens. Naomi isn't just angry. She's hurt, betrayed, and more importantly, she's now motivated. This is no longer about suspicion. This is personal. And I love this direction for Naomi, by the way, because her anger, it's not reckless. It's focused. It's turning into fuel. She knows Hayley has been lying. She knows something is off. And the fact that Bill refuses to see it, that's pushing her even harder. We've seen this pattern before in soap storytelling, the ignored truth teller. The one character who sees everything clearly but gets dismissed until it's too late. And I'm telling you right now, Naomi is stepping into that role. But here's the kicker. She's not alone, because while Naomi is investigating on her own, there's an entire separate alliance forming in the shadows. Tomas, Danny, Vanessa, and Kat. And this is where things get really dangerous for Hayley, because now we're not dealing with one loose thread. We're dealing with a full-blown network of suspicion, multiple angles, multiple perspectives, all pointing back to the same question. What happened to Lynette? Let's pause there for a second. Lynette's disappearance is the kind of storyline that lingers. It doesn't just go away. It spreads. It infects other plot lines. And now it's becoming the central knot that ties everything together. Hayley's connection to Lynette, that's not coincidence. And the fact that multiple characters are independently circling that same conclusion, yeah, Hayley's time is running out. But here's where I want to push back a little. A lot of fans are saying Hayley is panicking, that she's rushing because her plan is about to collapse. I don't fully agree. I think she's adapting. There's a difference. Panic is messy. It leads to mistakes. But what Hayley is doing, it still feels controlled, strategic. Even her most extreme actions have this unsettling precision to them. And that brings us to the poisoning attempt. Originally, it seemed like Hayley was playing the long game using something subtle. A colorless, odorless, tasteless liquid. The kind of thing that slowly weakens someone without raising suspicion. Classic, calculated, safe. But now, she's speeding things up, and that's what makes this so terrifying. Because instead of subtlety, she goes for something immediate food. Poor quality, hard to swallow. Almost engineered to cause harm. And it works. Bill chokes. He nearly dies. And suddenly, the entire dynamic shifts. This is no longer a slow burn manipulation. This is attempted murder territory. And I don't say that lightly, Because even if Hayley didn't intend for Bill to die in that exact moment, she created the conditions for it. She set the stage. That's intent. Now let's talk about that leaked moment, the one where Hayley is seen tightening her grip around Bill's neck. I have so many thoughts about this. At first glance, it looks almost playful. She's smiling. He's uncomfortable. There's this strange, distorted intimacy to it. And some people are saying, oh, it's just flirting, or she got carried away. No. Let's not normalize that, because the power dynamic in that scene is completely off. Hayley's in control. Bill is reacting. And when someone is already suspected of manipulation, of lying, of possibly being involved in a disappearance, you don't get to brush that off as harmless. That moment, it's symbolic. It shows us exactly who Hayley is beneath the surface. But here's the question that's been stuck in my head. Is Hayley desperate, or is she just revealing her true self? Because those are two very different things. If she's desperate, it means the walls are closing in. It means the investigations from Naomi, from Joey, from Tomas, and the others are working. But if this is her true nature, then everything we've seen so far has just been the tip of the iceberg. And speaking of Joey, we need to talk about Randy, because, oh my God, this man is unraveling. Ever since Lynette came into Fairmont Crest and then disappeared, Randy has not had a moment of peace. And even though he thinks he handled the situation, he didn't, not even close, because Joey is now circling him like a shark. Every mission, every question, every interaction, it's pressure, constant pressure. And Randy? He's cracking. I actually feel like Randy's becoming one of the most interesting wild cards in this storyline, because he's stuck. On one side, you have Hayley, his ally, possibly his co-conspirator. On the other, you have Joey, who is relentless, sharp, and getting closer to the truth by the second. Randy can't keep playing both sides forever. At some point, he's going to have to choose or run. And honestly, I think he might run, because the tension is building towards something explosive. Either Randy slips up or he disappears. And if he disappears, that's going to confirm everything. Now, let's zoom out for a second and look at the bigger picture. We have a possible murder attempt on Bill, a missing person case tied to Hayley, multiple independent investigations converging, a crumbling alliance between Hayley and Randy, and a daughter, Naomi, who is getting closer to the truth. This isn't just a storyline anymore. This is a full-scale collapse waiting to happen. And here's my prediction. The truth is not going to come out cleanly. It never does in Beyond the Gates. Instead, we're heading toward a massive cliffhanger, something explosive, something irreversible. I wouldn't be surprised if Bill finally starts questioning Hayley, but too late. I wouldn't be surprised if Naomi uncovers proof, but puts herself in danger. And I definitely wouldn't be surprised if Hayley makes one final desperate move to protect herself. Because if there's one thing we've learned about her, she will do whatever it takes to survive. Whatever it takes. And that's what scares me the most. Because when a character reaches that point, when survival becomes the only goal, there are no limits anymore. No lines they won't cross. No consequences they won't risk. So yeah, this storyline, it's about to explode. And I am not ready. But I also can't look away. What do you guys think? Is Hayley losing control? Or is this who she's been all along? Because either way, Bill is in serious danger.